Well, I think that they, do a great job of being balanced, which is what most offenses want. They're big up front and run the ball extremely well. Obviously, adding Peppers into the mix, creates a new dimension that a lot of teams, don't have. We've seen several athletic quarterbacks that we faced throughout the course of the season that are their permanent quarterback, and then when you have a guy like this that you place in there, you obviously have certain things you do when he's in the game. And so, obviously anytime you have a dynamic guy like that that's really a nationally recognized player, as a very talented guy, so you just got to know where he is at all times and where they're putting him, formationally, and whether he's going to touch the ball. And obviously they're putting him in for a reason. They want to get him involved. So, but, big receivers, probably the best tight end, we've played all year, and really, really talented guy that is a pretty special player. So, they're a good football team, and we're going to have to just go up there and play our best.
When you make a team one-dimensional, as you did in a lot of cases in Penn State, then the key is that dimension that they have, contain that. In terms of the passing game, what do you need to do maybe a little bit better to contain Michigan's passing game?
They because they run the ball as well as they do, and obviously it all kind of starts from there. They like to isolate you, on the outside with that, and so what you have to do is you got to win those battles, and you got to pick your scheme to be able to give those guys help at certain times, and then sometimes they're going to have to just make plays, and so obviously that's the challenge of a defense, is whenever you do want to make them one-dimensional, and you want to be able to force them into one side or the other. Usually, fundamentally, you want to take away the run and force them to throw, and that wouldn't be any different. Most games that's the case, and so, obviously, when you do that, you put pressure on other guys. Whatever scheme you're using, whether it's a corner or one of the safeties or whatever position, forces that guy to be able to have to rise up and, as we say, win those competitive plays. The offense is trying to get those accomplished, and we're trying to as well. And so, but obviously, Coach Harbaugh does a tremendous job, and has wherever he's been with the play-action game and forcing you to try to stop that run. And they use so many different personnel groupings and formations and shifts, and it's pretty much what he's done. All the different places, and it's been very, very effective, and he just does a great job at it. So we've got to be tremendously disciplined with our eyes and with our system and our fits, getting our guys in the right spots, and at the end of the day, it comes back to winning those, whether it's the matchup in the run fit, winning it against the blocker to the ball carrier, or winning those one-on-ones on the perimeter. And then obviously with the big tight ends that they have, it creates a whole other dimension of the run pass confidence those guys are put in. So, our guys are going to be on top of their game.
From his perspective at safety, he thought it was the best run fit he'd seen here. What did you see on film?
Yeah, it's frustrating. I thought we did a lot of great things, and I talked to the boys yesterday and, really tried to speak from the heart, and tell them how proud I was of them, and how hard they played and how well we fit the run. And there wasn't a lot of creases, there wasn't a lot of places to go, and I thought we played a really, really special running back that was really, really difficult to get on the ground, and you really never let him get going, and it was the guys that bought into what we're doing, and they played it really, really, really well. And so they did everything I asked them to do, in regards to that part of it. So I just felt like that, the kids, and they knew it too. I mean, they came off the side, they knew that they kind of had them, and they just really weren't able to get a whole lot in that part of the game. And so just frustrating not to be able to finish, so we addressed that with our guys and trying to find ways to still, 6 minutes to go in the game, we're up by 3, you got to finish. And to me, that's the bottom line. It's on us.
What do you think it's going to take to finish this?
And we discussed that too. You talk to the guys. I think that one piece of that for me is to play more guys early. I think that it does take its toll. As the game wears on, and if you notice, even some of those situations we had, in the first half, some of those throws, we were able to make plays on them, and then in the second half they were able to make some of those plays, and some of those ended up being the defining plays in that game. And so, to me, it's still about continuing to build depth and get more guys playing to where a guy's not playing 60, 70 snaps, which we still have at this stage of the game, and it's some critical positions. And so, at linebacker and at corner and Husky, and we just feel like we got to get. I think that's a big part of it, and because the thing that was different, and I'm always pretty transparent with our guys about, what happened, and when you go back and look at maybe the Nebraska game, and you had some definite breakdowns in that last drive. Here it wasn't like we broke down. It was just some, they made a play and we just didn't quite. We were there, we just didn't quite get the ball out or whatever. And so, it's a matter of now just, what do you do to get, to that next step. And so I think a really big part of it is that depth, the depth that you have to be able to, for a guy to be playing, in the 40s, maybe 50 snaps, and not getting him into the 70 range, where I don't care who you are, it wears on you, and so I think it allows you to maybe be a step slow here, or a step slow there, or just one, everything's a split second. It's such a fine line, at this level with the talent that you're facing every week. And so, we got to continue to grow that, and we're getting closer with that. I think our D-line is getting to where we're getting more of those guys playing, less reps, more guys involved, more guys that we trust to be able to execute in those situations. And so we definitely saw growth, and still, we got 2 takeaways, and really we count the 2 fourth down stops, even though you can't count them statistically as a takeaway. It does count in terms of that was their ball right there, and we took over as an offense at that point with the 4th down stops. So those were huge. And so getting 2 of those, there were 4 opportunities for us. We just needed to get the ball out, get another hands on the ball, get a pick, get one more stop to be able to give our offense the ball back there when we had the 3-point lead in the 4th, or you say the 10-point lead with 3 minutes to go in the 3rd. All that momentum that was at stake there, So just still teaching and coaching, and our theme for this week as a defense is about being persistent. We have different themes each week, and it says, I will persist without exception. And so we are going to continue to stay the course and keep reinforcing all the great things that they're doing. And I just was so proud of how hard they fought and battled and did such a great job in so many ways. Just got to continue to stay the course and be persistent and find a way. That's what we're going to do.
Defense is 13th in the country on 3rd downs. How have they been able to step up and get that last stop on 3rd down so consistently?
Well, it's a team effort, and another good performance in that area. And it is a critical area, when you start going through talking about the game and even how it changes over time. That's one thing that doesn't change, and that is getting off the field on 3rd downs. And it's probably more so now than ever because of the number of possessions that teams get with the tempo offenses today. And so that's one stat. A lot of times, the yardage thing can get kind of, I don't know what that really means sometimes, but it's about keeping out of the end zone. It's about taking the ball away from them. It's about possessions. So obviously 3rd downs are huge. So we emphasize it. We have one whole practice that we devote to that. And we really try and do a great job as a staff, zeroing in on it. We got guys divide up into different areas to study the opponent for those situations. And we want to make sure we have a great plan on 3rd downs. And when we come off the field, our coaches, we're talking about, hey, the next 3rd down and whatever, this is what we want. Hey, what did you like about this? And where do you think we have this protection to attack? And so it's a huge, huge part of our discussion. And we really know, at least I know going into the drive, hey, the first 3rd down and whatever plus, 7 plus or whatever, we're going to be doing this. So it's all it's a priority. I guess that's the best way to say it. And so, because we just know how important those situations are. And our guys have bought into that, make a big deal about it, about getting off the field. We call it series mentality. Win 1st down, play the fanatical effort throughout the series, and then get off the field. And that's how we approach it. And so I think it's one thing else you get what you emphasize, and really proud of our coaches and players for executing it. And those are critical downs that we have to come up big, and those creates 3 and outs if it's the first series of the drive, and they also obviously get our offense the ball back.
to that, why that was happening for you?
Big part is the penetration of our D-line. You know, once again, to be able to stop a back of his caliber, you cannot allow him to get downhill and get going. And he gets into our secondary, he gets into the, past line of scrimmage, and he's extremely difficult to tackle. And so if you notice, he was really, forced to move laterally way sooner than he wanted to. And I thought that was huge, and obviously you try and scheme it up and get yourself in position to do that. But once again, scheme's great, players got to make plays. So hats off to our defensive line, our linebackers, corners at times, safeties based on the run fits. I thought it was the penetration up front that probably was huge for that. And once again, the players just, buying into the game plan and executing it really, really well.
I say that'll be a key again this week against that.
Yeah, it is. They got a stable of them. Thought Penn State really had that one key guy that was their guy. And the other guys were good, but he was different. Whereas they got several that they just kind of roll in there. They keep them fresh, play a lot of guys, and they got different skill sets for sure, but pretty impressive group of running backs. So, but yeah, I think that you still got to, the game's won up front. It has always been the case. I don't think that changes. Obviously they're more of a traditional style, if that's, what we call that today. We see more spread than we see traditional, but you'll see more I formation, than you're used to seeing in most teams today. But the core philosophy of getting ourselves in position to get him in second long. We got Penn State in a lot of second longs, and that was huge. So first it went, winning first down was a big deal, and we emphasize that every week. But it really came true, and it's going to be just as big this week. And you want to get offenses in those, as we call, get them off schedule, get them in third and long.
With Michigan, running I formation, running a lot of traditional stuff, they're going to want to pound you. So does that make additional reps and rotations even that much more important?
It does. I mean, because from a 60-minute perspective of the game, obviously their philosophy is that they're going to wear you down. They got all these big old, they got 280-pound tight ends. And more than one. They got a lot of big men on this team. And so, they just want to just kind of consistently just pound at you. And so, yeah, you're going to have to play a lot of guys, because it's sometimes the spread, they try and wear you out with running you ragged horizontally and vertically. Here, they want to wear you down with, just the weight of their hits over and over and over again. So it still doesn't change. You still have to have, the depth issue becomes a priority for us. So we want to play a lot of guys and get them ready to go so they can help us and be able to match that strength for strength. And obviously with the way that today's game goes, this is a different style than you see most weeks. So we'll have to make those adjustments and get our guys ready to roll.
You're talking about 40 to 50 plays. Does that include guys like Scales?
You'd like for it to be. You really would, and I know, for me, everywhere I've been, I've always tried to play a lot of guys. I just think I've been matched up with a lot of tempo offenses, as far as on the teams I've coached on. And so we had to try and adapt a platoon mentality, on defense to where we were rolling lots of guys in. And I even had, a guy would come in and watch, a pro scout would come in and watch one of our linebackers one year, and he asked, he said, why does he not play as much? I said, because this is how we play. This is our approach. I want to be this way. I want these guys to be able to be fresh so, our offense can go at the tempo that they want to go at. And so, to me, that's the ideal, And obviously some guys are going to play more than others, but you still would like for a guy not to be out there 70, 80 snaps. I just think it just, at the end of a long game, it makes a big difference.